Premiere Week is here for Tamron Hall. The show is starting its second season, and we are joined with the one and only host, Tamron Hall. Tamron, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay. Good to see you.
Absolutely. So what can we expect with this new season as you guys are kicking off?
You know, I think that you will see more conversation. I stumble when you ask me that because I'll tell you, because we've been working from home. It feels like we've never left. I said to my team the other day, it's not a comeback. We never left you. So I don't feel as if this is a restart. It's a continuation of a conversation. We, like you, had to pivot and go inside the home to tape the show for several months. There was a couple of Zoom accounts and a baby. I used my baby monitor as a way to see some of the content they were sending in to me. But now we're back in our studio. We don't have a live audience, but we're live. And we are continuing the conversation, the fun conversations, the tough conversations. But most important for me is that people know that I'm the same Tamron, and where we are is where we will be, which is an authentic and real daily conversation with the people watching at home.
It's kind of interesting that you talk about that, because I was looking at your lineup and you really have a mix of serious guests and then star-studded guests. So who can we expect?
You know, that's the thing about the show, Lindsay, and you know this. When you're doing a talk show, you want people to know that every day it changes, life changes. If you go to dinner with someone and all they talk about is sports, you'd say, okay, is there anything else you want to talk about? If they only talk about politics, you're like, okay, hey, I'm headed back home. But if you have a layered conversation, that's where the real talk begins. And we're kicking off our season with one of the most sought-after interviews of the year. It's a rising political star, Andrew Gillum. He was within a percentage point of becoming the governor of Florida. And he found himself embroiled in a scandal, a fall from grace like I'd never seen in 27 years of reporting. And he's opening up about an incident that happened in Miami at a hotel room. It started trending early March. And now we find out what happened to this rising political star. We celebrate my birthday. To your point, it's an up and down journey. On Wednesday, I turned 50 on the 16th. Sam Jackson, Naomi Campbell, Chris Evans, all stopping by to talk with us. So we have a laundry list of guests, but the reality of the show is that it's a conversation, whether the person is famous or whether they are someone who doesn't live their life in the public eye. There's always something to talk about. It's just how you talk about it.
Absolutely. And so I was going to ask you about your birthday. This is a major milestone. So exciting for you. What have you learned, anything that you want to talk about as far as maybe what you've learned this year, marking this 50th birthday in a pandemic, that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. I think you learn, or you're reminded, because I grew up, listen, my dad was in the Army for 30 years. My mom was a teacher. My priorities in life were very well established by them. But situations like this remind us of what's important. We know that it's family. We say that it's family, but this was a reminder. It also strips back the layers. What do you really need? And for me, that was the big thing. I look around and I thought, okay, great. How many times did I really need to go on Amazon and look for something in the middle? Like, did I really need those things? You start to, you strip away the layers. And it's almost as if you say, okay, life is not an Instagram filter. Yeah. Life is life. And for me, that's the reminder that we all need, but I took from it having a 16-month-old son, being married, newly married, and having a mom who is 70 and, like the rest of the people, worried about my mom's health and, all of these same things that you're going through and the people watching at home. I think that's what I was reminded of, and that's what I'm taking into this 50th round of life that I'm living now.
Well, when you lay out all the things you have on your plate, that is certainly a lot. You have been very busy, plus a television show and all of that, working from home and then now back in the studio.
Listen, we're all busy. I don't know. I said to someone the other day, I know that people have thought, okay, great, you're home, and a lot of us are inside, so you can kind of just take life down. It's harder. When I was doing the show from home, I would look over and say, oh gosh, I need to dust that lamp. I'm in the middle of an interview, Lindsay, and my mind goes, or I hear my son and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I have to stop that interview to go check on my son. It was actually more intense because you're there. But now I'm in the studio, and truthfully, being back with my team, watching our crew come back in and believe in the show and believe in great conversation and believe that we're in it together. That's been so inspiring. And yes, now I get to rush right out and go hug my little 16-month-old chipmunk and so happy to get back in there. But life's a roller coaster, and this show is a roller coaster, so we're going to hold on for the ride.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And if you at home would like to watch Tamron Hall, it airs weekdays at 11 right here on WSLS 10.